Hello, everyone. My presentation today will be about two PSML leadership theories and two new GPA theories as well. The two new GPA theories will be about William Willoughby and incrementalism. And then the two PSML leadership theories are transformational leadership and situational leadership. So I'm going to start with the PSML leadership theories. The first one is transformational leadership. This is one that we have heard about in this class because it's come up through some of the readings, such as Mary Parker Follett, but we haven't really dissected what transformational leadership is. So the number one bullet point to remember is that it's not top down, but it involves everyone working together. So it's not just a manager barking orders, but the manager works with their employees. That helps, that's inspirational motivation, and that helps the employee feel connected and well engaged in the situation. It's important that the leader has influence and really pushes the employee to go after their own highest level of performance. Then situational leadership. That's when you lead dependent on the situation and what the people need at that time. I think this will be very common in for most managers, depending on where you are in your work and what type of employees you have, you lead differently. So, for example, if you have an employee that needs a lot of peppering questions and you're at that beginning stage where their idea hasn't been really formed, then you'll obviously be asking a lot of questions and trying to help them with the details. But if you have a employee who works really well and has proven himself to work well by himself, and the project's already been off the ground and he's just tidying up and everything seems to be going as planned, you're obviously going to treat that guy different than you would the guy who's just beginning and needs more hand-on help. That's leading based off of the situation and what each individual employee needs. So then the two GPA theories are William Willoughby and incrementalism. William Willoughby in 1912 is one of the budget theories. So he would go along great with a POSIT-CORB and VO keys that has been mentioned. He called for a national executive budgeting system and said that proper budgeting would ensure efficiency. And remember, this was before VO keys, and people hadn't really taken a hard look at consistent public sector budgeting. And Willoughby said, if we want efficiency, this needs to be something that we're talking about. And then lastly, incrementalism. So incrementalism, just like transformational leadership, is something that we've kind of danced around in this class because it's come up in theories, but not something that we've talked about directly. Incrementalism is slow and modest change over time. In the public sector, it's rare that change happens in some big push, but what often happens is policy changes a little bit at a time. This is for many reasons, including it's often hard to have big, wide-scale changes happen and to get the support of everyone needed to do those things. So instead, it's easier to push everyone a little bit at a time. And then also, if something is wrong with the change that is made, it's much easier to go back to the way things were than if it was a big change. So incrementalism has its benefits, even though it is considered slow change. So where to find the PSML? The first place is our 520 Blackboard. That's our leadership class. Obviously, both of these, situational leadership and especially transformational leadership, are talked about more in depth in those in that class. And then the two books from that class are the Transforming Leader and the Trusted Leader. So if you have those lying around still, you can find those. And then lastly, the MPA comp exam flashcards that have been mentioned by our professor, those have talk about not only situational and transformational leadership, but a bunch of different leadership theories that I would recommend everyone refresh themselves on. Now, the GPA theories, so Willoughby can be found in the classics book. And then on Blackboard, MPA 570, our public policy analysis class, had a really good section on incrementalism. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, incrementalism is sprinkled in other theories such as Herbert Simon and Charles Lindblom. So, satisficing, and as far as Herbert Simon's concerned, and muddling through from Lindblom are really have a lot in common with incrementalism. And you can see the connections through their pieces to slow and steady change. In conclusion, William Willoughby is another budgetary theorist who can be a good asset when talking about budgets. Incrementalism helps explain how changes are made and is weaved in multiple theorists that we have talked about. Transformational leadership helps lead employees by example and often creates the best results. This is often cited as the leadership model that we want to use. It's the best. And lastly, situational leadership responds to the situation and may change depending on what's going on. Thank you.